Hello and welcome to Iridium Rock and Metal Reviews. Hope everyone's staying safe out there in this difficult time. Today I'm gonna review a new album that's just come out. It's actually released today, so it's January the 15th. It's Locked and Loaded by Voodoo Circle. So let me tell you a little bit about the band. Voodoo Circle consists of a guy called Alex Bayreuth, hoping I'm pronouncing that correctly. He's on the guitar. Now he plays at the moment, I believe, in Primal Fear, power metal band. You've got David Reedman on vocals, Pink Cream 69, he's a British singer. Got Matt Singer on the bass, also played with Primal Fear, and he's got his own band called Sinner, and a guy called Marcus Coleman on the drums. I'm not sure who does the keyboards on this album because it's got quite a few classic sort of Hammond organ, especially keys on this, and I'm not sure who is keys on it, so I apologise for that. Right, what do I know about Voodoo Circle? Well, I know that they're basically a German band, I think, apart from the singer, like I said before, who's English. They play classic hard rock, if you like. So we're talking influences from Deep Purple, Rainbow, and especially Whitesnake. So they, apart from their first two albums, were not so heavily influenced by Whitesnake, but from then on, heavily influenced. And I mean, almost a carbon copy, almost like a cover band sound. Now, all I would say is if that you're the sort of person that annoys you, that they're sound a bit like a cover band, I wouldn't bother with this. Now, because there's a lot of bands out there that are influenced by other bands, which is obvious. You know, even the band the t-shirt I've got on now, Blackberry Smoke, they're influenced by Lynyrd Skynyrd, a load of other sort of old southern sort of bands, but they've also got their own sound. They've just got little bits and pieces of their influences, what a lot of other bands have. Voodoo Circle basically sound like Whitesnake. That's not to say a bad Whitesnake either. They're not a bad version of Whitesnake. In fact, they're quite good at it. They're very good at it. And they sort of cover, they seem to cover the influences of Whitesnake cover for everything from the bluesy early days up to their more modern stuff, you know, through the 1987 album and onwards. So they're good at what they do, but the influence of Whitesnake is so obvious, running right through their music. So like I say, if that doesn't interest you and it's going to wind you up, don't bother. But, you know, what I'm saying is, the vocalist especially, he's got the cover, he sounds just like Coverdale, but Coverdale of old. So we're talking powerful, bluesy, really strong vocals. Alex Bayreuth, I'm hoping I'm saying that right again, is one excellent guitarist. Absolutely brilliant. His solos are just outstanding. You know, one of the best out there. When he plays for Primal Fear, he's great. And on here, he's great. You know, if you actually think Primal Fear and this band, they just do not sound anything like each other. And I think this is probably, I don't know if this is more of his thing he wants to do, but obviously this is totally different than Primal Fear. Now, the first couple of albums, like I said, had their own identity a little bit more. Then they've gone into this definite Whitesnake, so influenced, it's unbelievable. So the album itself, so it's a little bit hit and miss for me. So you've got to try and forget, it's hard, the Whitesnake part of it. Because if it winds you up, you will not even be able to listen to it because it's just so obvious. But, you know, I'm going to review this as I see it, as the band are doing it, and try and not to get to, let's just say now, every song has got Whitesnake influence throughout. Then that gets it out of the way, and then we can talk about song by song. So we kick off the album with Flesh and Bone. So Revolution calling, and the now the master's falling. Could it be right? Could it be wrong? Where does that to pay? We got it back, gotta be strong. We will take like a rocker, probably like it's meant to be. I am going to mention the Whitesnake influences through this, obviously, because I've got to. It sounds like the 1987 type Whitesnake, you know, the newer sort of Whitesnake. Hammond organ through this. Like I said, I'm not sure who plays the Hammond organ, but it's got those classic rock Hammond organ touches. Solos very fast and technical. Vocals are good on this song, like they are throughout the album, by the way. It's just, he sounds like Coverdale. Simple. It's a good opener. A good rocking opener, just like you'd expect. Next one is Wasting Time. I like the verses on this one. The chorus, not so much. It's a bit more like slightly psychedelic feel and a sort of Eastern feel going through the... And I usually like that Eastern feel in rock music, but not in this chorus. Don't particularly like it. I like the verses more. It's sort of broken up with the guitar chords and the vocals running over it. And obviously with this powerful voice that David Reamond's got, it sounds great. There's like an extended solo on this, skillful, but not really fitting the song, if you know what I mean. Alex Bayreuth is a phenomenal guitarist, but sometimes it's just about speed and how fast he can play. I like a lot of melody, but he does do that sometimes as well. But sometimes, like for instance, in this song, doesn't really fit the song, I'm afraid. Next one is Magic Woman Child. So after another Eastern type intro for about a minute, this goes into a very Whitesnake feel again. The verses are good again, but again lacking a good chorus. Almost like two separate songs, this. You know, it's a bit strange. Very technical solo again. But I think sometimes, like the last two songs, the songwriting has been lacking. You know, everything's there as far as every guy in the band is superb. The vocalist is outstanding. The guitarist is outstanding. The drums and the bass are excellent. The songwriting department sometimes lets this band down. Next, well, these next two songs are probably the poorest on the album, and they're actually, I think they're the two singles that have been released. Locked and Loaded. Don't like this one lyrically, and I mean, look, this album is not about, you know, the lyrics are never gonna win awards. All right, they're not meant to. They are very stuck in them 80s sort of lyrics. But man, this just lacks so much intelligence, these lyrics. They're just like a bit too far with those 80s style lyrics. I mean, a kid could have written the lyrics for Locked and Loaded, and it's a poor song. I just don't like it. But I like the next song even less, which was the first single, Devil with an Angel's Smile. I just think this is so uninspired. It's like a Led Zeppelin feel to this one, but a poor Led Zeppelin. I don't even fucking like Led Zeppelin. So if it's a poor Led Zeppelin, well, I just don't like that at all. No, it's a really shit song, I'm sorry to say. Next one is better. Straight for the Heart. Pretty decent song. Yeah, again, it's like that, got that 1987 type riffing off of a Whitesnake album. Now, if you're getting the ump because anyone sees this who are Voodoo Circle fans because I'm mentioning Whitesnake a lot, well, fuck you, because they sound exactly like Whitesnake, so I'm sorry. If you can't admit that, don't bother. Sorry, but you know, I can imagine someone saying stop mentioning Whitesnake. Well, that's what they sound like exactly. If I've got a comparison for them, that is them. Down to the ground. Anyway, this is a better song, I think. It's got the Bad Boys. Remember the song Bad Boys by Whitesnake? It's like that sort of riffing, quite cool. Yeah, very intricate on the guitar. Alex Bayreuth, he's like, as he's riffing, he's lots of stuff going on. Very clever, very clever. Even got a whispery Coverdale part at the 3-minute mark. You know, Coverdale sort of does his little whispery bit, then going back into the song. But it does showcase the voice of David Reamond, who's got a brilliant voice. Next is a ballad, Eyes Full of Tears. Quite like this song. Again, this suits his voice, that sort of slow song, because where he's got his Coverdale influences and the power there, you can really hear it on a ballad. Does a great job. Big sounds of this song. Great solo yet again. Sort of guitar heroics coming out here from Alex Bayreuth. Next, number 8 is Devil's Cross. I like this one as well. Slow, sort of slow to medium, epic sort of sounding song. This type of song really sort of, again, shows off David Reedman's voice. He's got an absolutely brilliant voice. And the chorus is good as well on this song. So this is a very good song, Devil's Cross. One of the highlights of the album, really. Next, Trouble in the Moonlight. This is a rocker. Poor lyrics again, something to do with bad girls running wild or something. They're not going to win awards, like I said, lyrically, but it's not supposed to, I suppose. This album, it's meant to be a fun 80s sounding album, but you know, there's a way to do it that makes it a bit more tasteful, if you know what I mean. This is so obvious, some of the lyrics on here. So lyrically bad again, Trouble in the Moonlight, and not one of the best songs on the album either. This Song Is For You is next. This is a bluesy type song. I'm not into the bluesy type stuff. I mean, they sort of mix it up with the bluesy stuff, which when Whitesnake did it, I loved it. But this sort of, I don't know, where they're a copy of Whitesnake, if you like, it sort of doesn't fit quite right with me. But some good vocals and some excellent guitaring. Obviously, this two like extended bluesy solos on this for Alex Bayreuth. Let's just not forget how talented he is. But for me, not the sort of song I want to hear. Next, closing the album off, is another rocker, which is quite good. Children of the Revolution. It's not the old song by, I think it was T-Rex, Mark Bolan. Hammond organ again used on this up front. It's a good song to finish with. It's a bit like the first song. Starts and closes with rockers. Quite good. And then the album closes. So, like I said, if you are, you know, if this was a Whitesnake album, and I know it's not, but if it was, you would probably be quite happy with this album. It's quite good for a Whitesnake album. But the problem is, it's not Whitesnake. So you're going to be just thinking, like I am, as you're listening to it, you know, that sounds like Whitesnake. That's just like Whitesnake. That sounds like that song. And it does put you off of the album. But, you know, if you're already a fan of Voodoo Circle, you will know what you're getting. And if you don't mind, it's a good album. Well, it's not brilliant. I mean, it's not as good. I enjoyed, to tell you the truth, I enjoyed it better than the last album where they had a different singer. David Reedman's coming back in the band, but the stuff with David Reedman before he left, I liked a bit better than this album. Those two singles are really poor. I think they let the album down. I think they're just paint by numbers rock with uninspired songwriting, I'm afraid. So, not a very, I think that's my first album review of the year. Not outstanding, I know. But, you know, sometimes you just got to say how it is. You know, I was looking forward to this album, although when I heard the singles, I didn't have a lot of hope. But I think they're the worst songs on the album, though, you know. But it's a shame. I think they should go back to their original two albums they had, which was Voodoo Circle and Broken Heart Syndrome, where they had slight influences. You know, you could hear it, but like all bands. But they also had their own style as well, which I preferred. I think they're just too much now of a copy of Whitesnake. But, you know, if you're missing Coverdale's voice and you want it back how it was, you know, listen to him. Listen to him, you know. Vocally, it's a great album, and guitar-wise. If you're a guitarist you know, and you like a bit of guitar soloing, this maybe is the album for you, you know. There you go. Thank you very much for listening. What do you like Voodoo Circle? Have you ever heard of them before? You know, tell me what you think. Do you think I'm an idiot? Probably. If you want to subscribe, please press the red button bottom right hand corner.